there are different ways of manifestation. There are different ways that people manifest, right? There's manifesting from the fourth dimension, which I'm going to go into all those concepts. And then there's manifesting from the fifth dimension. So first of all, you want to understand that this world is a dimensional being. So what is a dimension? First of all, a dimension is a plane of existence. It's a plane on which life exists. So if anything exists on the plane, then it is called a dimension, right? So the one dimension is something that exists on one plane, and that thing probably will be something that is fixed. It doesn't move. It sees life just from one plane. The second dimension is the dimension of length and width, as you probably know from science, but literally this is the dimension of movement. So anything that can move is functionally in the second dimension, right? And the difference between the first dimension and the second dimension is that in the first dimension, you don't have movement. The thing is just existing maybe as a point, and it's fixed, and it doesn't have length, width, and height, and all of that. So literally anything that exists in the first dimension is just seated there. So for example, a dot, right? A dot on the board or a dot somewhere will be a first dimension. The second dimension is where movement comes in, and anything that can move is in second dimension because it has to do with length, right? And then third dimension, which is now the dimension of width, height, and all of these. And this now is the dimension, all these first three planes is the dimension of the physical eye. And the difference between someone or something that is existing in the second dimension and that in the third dimension is not just height, it's awareness. So the things that exist in the second dimension don't have self-awareness. Things that exist in the third dimension have self-awareness, right? And all of that. So then from there, so things that exist in the second dimension will be animals, right? So your rat, your cat, and in each dimension, what I want you to realize is that there are levels. There are levels of evolution. For example, on the second dimension, the most evolved being will be the dogs, the cat, like the home animals that actually fellowship with humans, and then they kind of like copy. And the less evolved will be things like ants that don't really have any, because their level of the awareness, which is what I call consciousness, has not really been developed. Now, in the third dimension is where you and we exist, right? I'm actually looking down at the chat because I'm speaking to the camera and then looking at my laptop for the comments, but oh, Sabi, your work is very good and helpful. Yeah, you're most welcome. Thank you so much for these comments. It made my day. So I'm not going to focus on that. Please just let me know if you're following in the chat. And then I'm going to come back to the comments after finishing what I'm teaching, like the introduction. And then so the third dimension is the dimension of awareness, and this is where time exists, right? And this is where you and I and everything that exists on this physical plane is literally in the third dimension. So you seeing me right now is because we are in the third dimension. Movement, everything right now, this physical world that can be seen with the eye in the spectrum of light is in the third dimension, right? So is again the dimension of awareness, dimension of time, and all of these things. Then we move to the next dimension, and this next dimension is the fourth dimension. Now this is the dimension that outside of time, right? So in this dimension you can go in forward and backward, and time doesn't exist. And this, as a human, this dimension is literally the dimension of your mind, right? Or anything of the soul. So the soul will be the dimension of your will, your emotions, and your mind. So your mind, this is why it's possible for you to sit and literally go back in times and think about something in the past, and then you feel the emotion, and so your mind is like, your mind is actually there in that thing. And then you can also imagine the future. So it is the ability to go back and forward, and that is the dimension of the mind. And this is where, when you're manifesting from this plane, right, this is where you start doing a lot of mind work, mindset, shifting your beliefs, shifting your emotional state, and all of that. So first of all, you want to understand that first of all, how manifesting in the 3D works and how manifesting in the 4D works. So with manifesting in the 3D, everything is like, everything here is effort, right? It's like the things you need to do, and that's the only law. There's nothing that is like, oh, you have to maybe shift some things. Everything is like, do something. So if you look like out there in the culture, in the rush and hustle and grind culture, you will see that this is what is being projected. Is like you have to work hard, you have to do this. The only thing that people believe is that the harder you work, the more you are going to make money, for example, right? So it's the belief in hard work. Then when somebody start now awakening to like the fourth dimension of thinking and the fourth plane dimension, they start seeing actually it's not just the effect. Everything is not just do. Everything, okay, how can I change my mind? This is when you start paying attention to your mindset. You start realizing that, oh my God, my thought actually created my reality, my beliefs. And then you start doing that level of inner work to shift, one, your way of thinking, and two, your emotional state, right? So in that realm of creation, you start to awaken literally to believing that I am the creator of my reality. And because you are awakened to believing that you are a creator of your reality, you stop being a victim. Because the thing with someone who is operating in the 3D is that they are still in the victim consciousness. And I'm going to share all of this in detail in the series that is coming up, right? And because they are still in this victim consciousness, they still believe that everything is happening to me. I'm just a victim of circumstance. Why did they cheat on me? Why is my life like this? Why? So literally, they feel like they are the victim, and blame is their core emotion. They blame everything on the outside, everything except themselves. So the person operating and creating from the 3D doesn't have a sense of responsibility, if that makes sense, right? And then the person operating or creating from the 4D will be the person who literally they have awakened to the fact that they are a creator, and they know in some way that their beliefs, their thoughts, their mindset, and their way of thinking and their way of feeling is creating their result. And this is when they slightly start to awaken, and then you take back your personal power is activated. You're like, you know what? I am my creator. I have to change the way I think, believe that I am creating everything. And because I'm creating everything, I can change my life. Now, this level of consciousness, and we're also going to get into like dimension of consciousness, right? Because there's a difference between dimensions and level of consciousness. So that's somebody that has the level of consciousness of the fourth dimension and maybe operating there. And as a result, they're going to do a lot of like mindset work, a lot of inner healing work to release emotions and all of that. And then now you come to the fifth dimension. And this is where I want us to go. This is where this series is going to take you. This is it. Because here's the thing. In the fourth dimension, you still see yourself as a man, as a body, right? You still see yourself as I'm a body and I have a mind, and everything that I create comes from my mind. This is where great teachers like Bob Proctor, Law of Attraction is going to make so much sense to you. This is when you're in the fourth dimension, everything like Law of Attraction, everything like teachings to change your mind, change your belief, change your energy, your vibration. All of that is going to make sense to you, right? You're going to be so focused on the law of attraction, not realizing that it is just one of universal laws. The law of attraction is just one law of abundance, right? It's just one of the universal laws, right? And then after, when you are awakened, as you keep doing your inner work, you start transcending that dimension, and now you enter the fifth dimension. Okay. So when you start manifesting from the fifth dimension, you no longer do you identify, because in the fifth dimension, this is now the realm outside of time, and of course outside of seeing yourself as a separate being. Because everything from the fourth dimension and below, there is this concept of separation. Everything see itself as just a being, right? But when you start ascending, when you are activating in the fifth dimension and you start learning how to manifest from there, now you're no longer manifesting from you changing your belief and changing your emotion, because you have actually already done that. And because you have already done that, now you actually are awakened to who you are as a spirit. And this is where it changes. And not just a spirit, but you start awakening to who you are innately as a spirit, and you start living and navigating life from who you are as a spirit, right? And creating and manifesting as the spirit. And not just a spirit, but as a fractal of God, as a divine as an incarnate, as a divinity that is at work in humanity. So if we want to quantify like the 3D, the three dimension way is like, the three dimension is like this realm that we see, right? The fourth dimension is the realm of the mind, the imagination, visualization, beliefs, thought, emotions, and all of that is beautiful because it's a stage that you should not skip. That if you skip on your inner work journey, which of course I'm going to talk about this, just to go to this higher concept that I'm going to be teaching in this series, in the fifth manifestation from the 5th day, you're going to do what we call spiritual bypassing. So spiritual bypassing is when you literally use spiritual knowledge to skip doing your inner work and to skip ascending gradually, right? So it's like you can just decide, oh, I'm going to go from the 3D to the 5D. No, it's going to catch up with you because you actually need to be able to have done some inner work to release the emotions and change the way you're thinking and your programming and rise in your level of consciousness, which I'm going to also teach about, in order for you to be able to actually start living in the 5th dimension naturally. So when you are actually operating and start manifesting from the 5th dimension, what and beyond, right? Because I'm going to say and beyond because I'm going to teach other things of the 6th dimension and all of that. You start seeing that you start creating from this place of a spirit and existing and navigating life as God that you are, and you stop seeing that everything is separate from you. So from the 4D and below, everything is separate. You're taught to believe that money is something that is on the outside of you. Money is separate. You have to chase it. You have to do something to be worthy of it. But as you ascend and you awaken to the 5th dimension, you start realizing that money is not separate from you, and no longer are you manifesting from this place of, oh, I need money. You start existing as money, and you start co-creating with angels. And this is when you start also fellowshipping with your spirit guides. You start being awakened to your own spiritual gifts and spiritual ability, and you start navigating life as a spirit with your full spiritual potential. And this is when you not only quantum leap, this is when you become supernatural. This is when people, like, you can't really understand. Okay, so this is when now you no longer need to visualize things for them to materialize. Okay, so an example that I'm going to give you of a 5D manifestation technique, right? I'm going to look at the comment, but if you have any questions, you can drop them. Is that, for example, I'm going to take an example that I experienced today. So today I went for my walk, my daily walk this evening. And while going out, and I was just like, I'm like, okay, guardian angel, I want to meet somebody today. I want to create a connection with somebody today. I don't know how, but usually when I go my walk, I take my phone and I don't talk to people. But I wasn't in the energy of talking to people. So I went on my walk. And I didn't actually try to initiate a conversation with anybody on my walk, okay? But I was like, okay, angel, guardian angel, I know we're going to do this. Like, I know this is happening. So I just went, I walked, and came back, I was like 100 meters from my house. Now, this walk is a very long walk. I had to go for a long walk. And walking all through, I didn't talk to anybody. Coming back, nobody talked to me. I was almost at that place where if I wasn't yet very ascended in my consciousness and in my way of living, I would actually doubt, because I was like, not 100 meters, like 50 meters, because I was standing here I was actually on my block, my building block, okay? So my building has 2 buildings, A and B. And I was at B, sorry, because I live at A. And then I was actually walking. Usually I would take the leaf of B, and then come and then walk to my building. But I decided, okay, I'm just going to walk. I just felt the leading to walk. As I was walking, this guy just comes from behind. And he's like, hi. And I'm like, hi. I'm like, how are you? I'm fine. And like, he tells me his name. And they're like, oh, that's amazing. Can we exchange contacts? And I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. And we exchanged. And I got home and he called and we talked. Now, why am I sharing this? When I went on that walk, all that I needed to do was know. There's a difference between trying to manifest and existing as a manifestation. And in the 5D, there is no longer doubts. Doubts don't exist. It's like, because your consciousness has so shifted, and you have already done the inner work to actually release every block and all these things, that your energy in itself, everything that you think becomes. Not just think, everything that you desire. I will use the frequency of desire, right? Desire, not need, but everything that, even if you're just playing for fun, it comes. So you live now on the frequency of knowing, and not even of faith, because faith is still a 4D principle. You live on the principle of knowing, right? So this is literally the journey that we are going to be going on. I'm going to be going on a journey with you of how can you go from 3D, manifesting from 3D, to actually ascend to 4D and manifest from 4D, and how to manifest from the 5D. And trust me, this may be most of the things that to most people it might trigger them. It's going to be a little bit triggering, especially if you haven't done some level of inner work. And initially you might resist some of these concepts, because if you get in your mind. But for those of you who are intuitive and who know what I'm talking about, this is going to be a frequency shift. And this is going to be an awakening and an activation that is going to launch you into a new dimension, right? And we are going to talk, of course, again, like I said, I'm going to walk you through ascending from this 3D that maybe you are, right, to the 5D. And here's the thing: it's not about how you look like. It's not about what you know, because it's not about the concept that you know. It's about your embodiment, okay? And this is the concept I want us all to have. What have you embodied? What have you embodied, and what are you going to embody? So this is the journey we are going to be going on. I'm excited to give you this introduction. And of course, hope you're going to be catching me. Probably I want to do this live and do these teachings live, and then get the opportunity to answer your questions and then upload them. So if you can come live with me, you can just maybe hit the notification bell on the channel, and always look out for when I am scheduled, like when I schedule videos, because I want to teach this live, and then I can upload the recorded video. I don't know if that makes sense. So that is literally the introduction of the things that we're going to be doing. So we are going to be talking a lot about inner healing in order to go from that 3D to ascend. We're going to talk about subconscious reprogramming. We are going to talk about all of that. And also, my membership is open, House of Inner Transformation. So this is like a baby that I've been working on. And this is literally the house that I got like a channel, a message to open. So it's a house, right, for everyone who really is ready to do their inner work. And this is inner healing. This is reprogramming your subconscious mind. This is regulating your nervous system to actually get in the 3D and then exit and get out of it, and then get to the 4D, get out of it and get into the 5D. And this is a spiritual ascension. So this membership right now is actually on sale for the first founding members. So I've not shared this even on my Facebook. I've not shared this to my email list. I just wanted to come live here and share this first with the 1 or 2 people who are live. I don't mind, because I know it's not for everybody. It's just for the core. So if you want to know, you can check the description of this video. The link is going to be there for you to join. As a founding member, you're going to get 50% off the price, because as we launch and I have 10 people, when 10 people are in there, the price is going to go up, because I know what the work that we're going to be doing in here, right? So yes, that is it. And now let me check your comments. I've been going back and forth, and let me read and let's chat. So if you have any questions, anything you want to know, anything like that, now is the time. You can drop your questions in the chat. I'm so excited. Thank you all for being here. Okay, I think I'm going to read now the comments. Please, if you have anything or any questions or anything like that, just let me know in the chat. I say your work are very good and helpful in our own life. Wow, your message are very valuable. Move life forward. You're most welcome. That makes my heart. It's manifesting from the 4D effective and powerful, because most of us were doing that before getting to know you. Okay, yes. So this is like so this is where I want to clarify, right? And this is what I wanted to say. in order for you to get in the fifth dimension and start manifesting from the fifth dimension, it is necessary that you do the fourth dimension work. Now, the only thing in my work is that we do the accelerated ascension. So it's like we accelerate the time with which you would take. Because what most teachers teach you, even in the fourth dimension, they are not really teaching like it's I'm not, they are right, it's their level of it's the message that has been given to them. But to me, and from working with clients, now remember, I'm a coach here, I'm not just some person who has read some books. So I've transformed my life, I help other people transform their life, and this is what I've seen. Even in the fourth dimension, most of the thing that is being taught out there is really being taught like quick fixes, it's like tricks, manifestation tricks and tricks. You see what I mean? It's like manifestation tricks and tips. We don't want the tips. We want embodiment, because when you start existing and living as the message, as the thing, you no longer honestly get to a point where you need to try to manifest things. Because here's the thing, with the 4D manifestation, right, or from the fourth dimension, which is like the second stage, the second level of consciousness, right? It's the fourth dimension, but it's the second level of consciousness. In that, you are still trying, you see yourself as I am the creator. And because you see that I am the creator, it's like there's this empowerment, which is beautiful. And then you're always trying to make things happen. But as you get to 5D, you realize that I am actually okay, this is the quote that I got for 4D. The code for 4D is by me. I make things happen by me, right? So let's say the code for it's by me. And then with the 5D is through me. And then with the 6D and above and all of it's as me. Because you are coming to a place where you stop you and I will, you see, do we agree that in the 4D manifestation, you have to do some work? Which is necessary, which is totally necessary in order for you to get to that level. But you don't have to stay there. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to stay there. And it doesn't have to take you so long being there. You can accelerate your growth when you know the map, when you know the channel, and you know how to do it. So when most people are teaching you, it's just, okay, close your eyes, visualize, and all this mental thing. And here's the thing. In each of these dimensions, right, there are stages. There are stages, and most of the time they skip the stages, or they don't teach you some of the stages. For example, in the fourth dimension, they focus only on the mind, more on the mind. But the thing is that before you get to the mental work, even for it to be effective, you need to do the emotional work first. And this is where they don't get it. And this is where most of you may be doing it now, right? You need to do the mental work. It's like, before I change my mind, I need to release the emotion that I stored in my body. Because first of all, where are the limiting beliefs, the thought, where do they come from? They come from emotional experiences. They come from trauma, and trauma is simply emotion. And every thought and belief that you hold is actually a protective mechanism that your brain created in order to shield you from experiencing the pain of the trauma that you experienced in the past. So your brain is always going to be trying to do its job of trying to keep you safe from experiencing the pain of the thing that you experienced in the past by actually keeping you with limiting beliefs. So this means that when you actually do the trauma work and you release, this is the magic. When you start with emotional work and then you go to mental work, mindset work, it works better. The problem is that, again, with people, like, the spiritual bypass the thing, yeah? And when you spiritual bypass, this is when you notice you're dealing with the same beliefs over and over again. You're doing the same thing, like shifting is hard and all of that, yeah? Does that make sense? Okay, if any other question, let me know. Can someone who has influence over you hinder your manifestation? Like parents who is content with where you are, but I myself want something else. So again, this is where it depends on the level of consciousness where you're in, right? And now, as I do this training, you're going to realize where you are. Because here's the thing, for someone who is creating from the 3D, for example, they're going to, it's going to be possible that the parents actually influence them. Why? Because they have this, they are operating from the place of everything is happening to me. So circumstances literally control them. You see what I mean? Circumstances control them. And because circumstances control them, therefore, their parents believing that they cannot is actually going to get to them and affect them. Okay, for someone who is, I'll start awakening and start manifesting in the fourth dimension, for example, they have realized that, hey, I'm actually my creator. I'm the creator. And because I'm the creator, what every other person thinks about me or feels about me doesn't affect me. And because they are in this higher level of consciousness, they can detach because they understand, they can say, hey, I choose to not allow what my parents believe about me affect me. I choose what I want for myself because I know that I want this for myself. And here's another thing. Anything that you want for yourself, it's because there's part of self that knows that you actually have the ability to get that thing. That is a quote. Like everything you desire, it's because there's part of yourself that actually believe that you have the ability to actually achieve and manifest that thing. So if you desire it and you're in the fourth level, you understand, I want this, so I can go have that. So I'm not gonna make so right now I'm not giving my power away to my father or my mom. I'm not letting my parent decide for me. I am in my power because remember, the person in the 4D is in personal power. They are in the personal power, right? Or manifesting from the 4D. So they literally let other people to be like, it's like they like, you know what? Whatever. And now this is how the person in the fifth dimension is gonna behave. The person in the fifth dimension understands now what the father wants for them is because the father loves them, and the father has a perspective that is different from theirs. So this is what somebody in the 5D would do. Somebody in the 5D who allow their parents to still believe what they believe about them, and they will not make their parent wrong for wanting that. They will actually want to try to see the perspective from which your parent is coming from, and you will understand them, and you will see it as it's not separate. It's him and I, we are the same. And probably if she's saying that, it means there's actually something there for me, right? Maybe I can pick that, but then how can I not judge them, but how can I live and stay in my truth? How can I not make them wrong? Because here's the thing, the person in the 4D is gonna make you, you're gonna want to probably make your dad wrong and just give them a finger, like, you know, a F or something, right? But someone in the 5D, you're gonna take the perspective with love and see what you are being called to integrate there. What maybe God is trying to communicate to you and get you to integrate through your parents and integrate that wisdom. Because here's the thing, what I would say is that your parents are not wrong. From someone in the 5D, your parents are not wrong by saying that maybe what you have you should be content with, and you are not wrong either. So when you start living in the 5D, you stop living in separation because you no longer believe in separation, because you see separation as an illusion. All that you see is oneness, and because you see oneness, you try to take both sides of everything, and this is where the inner work happens. You don't make right, nothing becomes right or wrong. It just becomes, how can I integrate both? So this is, for example, when you stop believing like men and women are different, or like you start accepting both, and you start believing in the illusion of light and darkness, and you start seeing that one is simply a reflection of what the other one is not, and you can integrate both perspectives. So when you can integrate both perspectives, when you can hold that duality of you wanting what you want and still understanding why your parent want what you want and see what they mean and integrating what they mean, it's going to change your life. And this is when you quantum leap. Now, that may be a little bit much, but this is an example of what I mean, how you can integrate this 5D in your consciousness right now with this example. Ask yourself, the reason why your parents are saying this is because they notice that maybe you're acting from a place of scarcity. You're not content with what you have. Maybe you are truly not content, and they are there as a reflection of God to get you to get grounded in what you have. And then because you're grounded now, you can now decide, okay, I'm grounded in what I have. I want more. So it doesn't mean that it means that how can you start appreciating the things that you want? And maybe that's why. Maybe they notice you operating from wanting more from a place of lack and scarcity, of thinking that it's not enough, I'm not enough, and being on this rat race. And because you probably are in the fourth dimension, you're in that place of, I am a creator, I can create anything, and you chase it, and then you lose sight of the other perspective. Because everything that exists in this life exists in duality, but duality is only a construct of the 4D and below. In the 5D, everything becomes one. This is when you start integrating perspective. Nothing becomes wrong, but you start seeing, how can I integrate this in my life? So when you integrate and you start embodying and living like that, your life is going to change. So for example, if I were you, I'll be like, for my dad to say that, probably there is, in what way in my life am I living in scarcity? In what way am I not being grateful? In what way am I not being content? And from this place of content, I can have my one leg in gratitude and one leg in desire. Because this is the code for manifesting from the 5D. Is that have one leg in gratitude and one leg in desire. It means have what you have and enjoy it. Like, it's like, I'm grateful for what I have, and truly be content with it. Truly be content in such a way that even if all of that was taken away from you, you're still going to be the most happy girl in the room. But from that place of knowing that I'm already grateful and abundant right now, I just desire more, and it's okay to have more. Because here's the thing, when you are not grounded in abundance, in that content that your parents are talking about, what happens is that when you get the thing, you start chasing after the next thing. You just start chasing after the next thing. But you know that you are grounded in this, in content and gratitude and all of that. When you can have what you have, when you can desire something, and when you manifest it, you still want it. You still desire it. And then from that place, you desire more. Now, that might be a little bit, are you understanding? Like, do you get what I mean? It's like, I desire $1 million cash. Like, okay, let's say when I desired, maybe I was desiring $10,000 in my business every month. I manifest that, and of course, what I'm going to be wanting is going to change, right? I'm going to now like, oh, I want 50K cash month. But am I still in love with that 10K? Am I still in that burning desire? So, you see, again, the dimension you're operating in, which a dimension is just like based on the level of consciousness, is going to determine a lot of this. So it's not really an answer for me to tell you that yes,